The next thing we're going to be working on is the side mirror. And for that, we're going to want to load in some more images. So what we're going to actually do is we're just going to click these triangles to make each of these smaller. And we're also going to click on the eye to hide all of these images that we've used before. So we're going to make them all smaller by clicking on the triangle, and we're going to hide it. We don't actually have to hide the top view because we're not going to use that, but we are going to hide all the rest of them. So just minimize them like this by clicking on the triangle. Make sure the eyes are all like this. And what we're going to do is add in some new images. So we're going to click on Add Image 3 times because we're going to add in 3 images. And we're just going to click Open, go to wherever you saved your images, and then you can click on this icon to show the images. One of the ones we want is this one, so we're going to click this, click Open Image, do Control 1. This is going to be the back view image, so we're going to change it from all views to back. And we're also going to flip it horizontally so that this mirror is over on this side. So we're just going to put a check mark on flip horizontal so that it's over here like this. And then we're going to do open on this next image, references, or wherever you saved it. Just go to wherever you saved it. And we want the side view, so this one, I'm going to open this image. And we're going to change this to right view so that when we press 3 on the number pad, we get this side image and we can look at the side mirror from that view. And then the last one, we're going to click Open, go back to where you saved everything. This one's a new one. It's going to be in the description, so if you downloaded all the pictures before, this one's a new one in this video. You could also use like this one maybe, or even this one if you want, so it doesn't matter too much. We're not going to be following these pictures exactly, we're just going to be looking at them for reference. So I'm going to load this one in, this yellow one. Like I said, it's new in this video. So if you've downloaded all the pictures before, you will not have this one. So you're going to have to download this one. The link will be in the description to download this. And we're going to change this from all views to front view. So now when we press 1, we can see this image in front view. So from back view, by pressing Control 1, we're just going to move this over a bit more. We're also going to move to a new layer. So we're on this layer right now. We're just going to left click on this third layer. So we're on a totally different layer. And we're just going to move this, not this image, the one that's on back view. We're just going to move it over a little and down a little, something like that. You could scale it down too, so that it's more to scale with the car, but we can just scale the mirror when we're finished if we want. So either way is fine, scale it now or scale it later, it doesn't matter. So what we'll do is we'll just get started making this part of the mirror that we can see from this angle. And to do that, we're in object mode, we're in this new layer. So we're just going to do create and choose plane. And then tab into edit mode, RX90, press enter. S to scale it down, G to grab and move it over. Switch from face select to vertex select. Shift right click to deselect one vertex. Press delete, choose vertices. So now we just have this one vertex that we did not delete. So just right click it. Or if you can't find it, just press A couple times until it gets selected. And then press G and move it over to the point of this mirror. So right here about. And we're just going to go on the outside of this to start out. So you want this one here, and then you're going to do E to extrude and put one here. E to extrude, put one here, E to extrude, bring it all the way over. Since this is not a high poly model, this is a low poly model, it's not going to match up perfectly, so don't worry about that. The curvature is not going to be perfect. But then we're just going to select this vertex, E to extrude, and we're going to do the same thing. We use 2 points to make this curve, so we want to use 2 points to make this curve up here, so that we're keeping it an even, we're keeping a consistent, vertex count on both the top and bottom corners. This top part though is more curved than the bottom part. Like, this is pretty straight, this is not, so we are going to have to use more vertices on this top part. So just use as many as you think necessary, or you can just follow exactly what I'm doing. So I extruded 1, 2, 3, and again I'm going to use 2 on this corner. And then I'm going to extrude 1 down to here, and extrude this one out to here. And that will be the start of our shape like this. Now what we're going to do is press 3 to go to side view. And we're going to need to position this picture to better match up with the vertices that we've created. So we're going to go down to the picture that's in right view, and we're just going to adjust it up and down, holding shift if you need to move more slowly. And we're also going to need to scale it. This is going to be a bit bigger. It's going to need to be a bit bigger. So if we look from back view, we know this one's like the bottom of the mirror. So we can kind of use that as a reference. Like, this point would need to be down here basically. So we want that to be lined up. And we also want the top to be where the top is. So you just need to scale and reposition as necessary until you have something that is approximately how it should be. So like, this is pretty decent. This is going to be a good shape for us. So one thing you'll notice is this nice crease line here. It actually continues, it curves around and goes to the front, which you can't really tell from this picture. But we want to start making this crease line, and we're going to want 2 sets of vertices to make this crease. Right now we only have this one vertex. So what we can do is we can just do Control R from back view and add in another point here, and then just press G and bring it over so that we can actually curve this better as well. So we now have 2 points here. We can select both of them and press E to extrude, right click to cancel. So this from side view would be pulled back like this, and it's going to go in this direction so that the mirror will curve in this direction. And we're going to press E to extrude again, right click to cancel, and bring this over. And eventually this is going to meet up with this. So we can do E to extrude one more time, right click to cancel, bring it forward, or bring it this way on the X direction and then forward on the Y direction. And I'm going to press period to focus in on these. And we just want to move this one, this top one, back some in the X direction for both of those. And then we're going to connect them here. So we're going to select these 4 and press F. And that will be the basic shape for the mirror. You can even check it in front view if you want. You can press 1 for front view. And we can reposition the front view picture. And you can kind of get a look at what we're doing. You can do the same thing, scale it up and move it as necessary. It's not going to fit perfectly because all these images are from different angles, so you can't use them like you can use them as a you can't use them like you would a blueprint, but you can use them as a visual reference. So this probably needs to be a little bigger. Something like that. It's kind of close. It's not super close. So what we can see from front view is this kind of curves downward and then it goes back up, to which would be this point, kind of how we have it. So we actually want this to curve downward a little. So what we can do is select these vertices and just make sure that this curves downward a little. Kind of like that. And you can check from side view too, and it actually curves up a little and then down a little. So you can bring this one up a little if you want, and maybe forward a little. So this will be the basic shape for that part. We're going to adjust it as we need to. This probably needs to be up a little more, like that. One thing I wanted to mention was this part, like this is where the tip is, so this is where this point is, right here. So if we went to back view, this is the point I'm talking about, and this is the point right here. But you can see that there's another crease that goes on the bottom, and it also goes on the top, like that. So we want to try to create that over here. So we can actually do Control R, add in a loop cut here, just left click, right click, and we want this to connect up to this approximately. So we're going to select these four and press F, select these four and press F, so that we have that kind of shape where we'll have these crease lines here. And then we can probably just start filling in some of the rest of this, but first I want to correct this bad shading, so we're going to just press A twice, Control N to recalculate the normals. That looks like it didn't do anything. So with all this selected, just go to Mesh, Normals, Flip Normals, and that will make everything look a bit nicer. You can also go to Tools and Object Mode and set shading to smooth, so we can now start to see we have that crease. And we can also start filling in some of these areas. So we can select these vertices, press F, select these two, press F, and then F again. And although we'd have some bad shading here, we can try to correct that a little bit. We're not going to worry too much about this. We're probably going to have to move this vertex a little. And we'll deal with that a bit later. So the next thing, in front view, we'll take a look at this again. So we have this one, which is this curve which goes over, so this curve which goes over. But you also notice that this curve goes down as well. So like from here, it needs to go down. So if we take these two, E to extrude, right click to cancel, and G to bring them down in this direction, that's going to create this little Y shape that it has here. But we also want to move these forward and maybe up a little, so that we have that little Y shape. Just continue to reposition as necessary. What we can do now is we can just bring this up a little so that it's more in line with this. I'm going to select this vertex, E to extrude, right click to cancel, and just bring it over, and then up a little so that it will match up with this. E to extrude, right click to cancel, bring this over. I'm going to merge this one to this one, so we're going to shift select this one, Alt M at last, and then we're going to fill in this area. So select these four, press F, select these two, press F, so we have this. And we may need to reposition this vertex accordingly, however you see fit, until you have a decent shape. I guess that's going to be fine for now. So we can fix this shading here. To do that, I'm going to do Control R, left click, right click, take this vertex, shift select this one, Alt M at last. Do the same for these two, merge this one down to this one. You can just do Shift R to repeat, or you can do Alt M at last, whatever suits your needs. And we want to take this and continue it down to here, so we can just use the knife cut tool by pressing K. Going on this edge here, left click, drag down, and with this highlighted in yellow, just left click again, then press enter, and that will confirm the cut. I'm going to continue this down to here, so we're going to select these two, J to join, and we're going to get rid of this edge, so go to edge select, select the edge, delete, dissolve edges, and we're going to take this, since we still have some bad shading here, what we're going to do is we're going to take these vertices and move them closer to this edge to further define this edge as well as improve the shading. So we're going to take these, Q to slide, and you can even just position them by hand to try to match the curvature that we're looking for. And if you want, you can even bring this one down, so G twice. And position that one better. So now you can see we have a better defined crease there. But if you want, you can select these three and do Q to slide it even closer so that it's not as thick of a crease. You can just make it a little smaller, or you could even bring these up a little if you wanted to make it so that the crease is not as wide as it was. But that gives a better shading in the top, and it makes a better crease along here, so that's two good things. We can change the curvature of this a bit, because you can see it's really flat and then it just kind of goes like that. So we can just change this curvature a little so that it's not a flat surface. That looks a little bit better from pretty much all angles. So this is pretty good for now. We're going to save it. Just go to File, Save. Now we're going to press Tab to go to Edit Mode. And what we want to do is connect these two, but we also need a new point here. So we're going to do Control R, left click, right click, and select these four, press F. Select these two and press F, and that will connect those pieces. And then what we want to do is take this, press E to extrude, right click to cancel, bring it down and over. So these three vertices, extrude them down and over. And you can probably bring them forward a little. So now we have something like this. And we can take these three, press F, take these four and press F. And then take this vertex. You can do it in back view if you want with Control 1, E to extrude, bring it over to where it belongs. And then take these four and press F. So we have something like that. But we may need to adjust the shape of this somewhat. And then we can take these four here, so these four right here, press F. Now we're going to press Control 1 to go to back view. Tab into edit mode, Z for wireframe. It's hard to see in this picture, but this crease line actually continues all the way down. So what we're going to need is another set of vertices here. So we're going to do Control R, left click, right click, and just slide this over with Q. That'll create that inner set of vertices, but what we also want is more curvature on this other part, so we're going to do Control R, not in that part, Control R, and add in another loop here, and slide it over similarly. So we have something like this. And what we want to do is take these, or at least take this one, and bring it out a little. And I want to slide this vertex down, so I'm going to press G twice and slide it down some. And then take these two vertices and pull them out some. And I'm actually going to pull this one out a little too, to give more curvature to this area. Although we don't have any good pictures of this bottom part, I can add some in the description, and this is kind of the shape that it has, where it's sort of a triangle with beveled edges. This isn't perfect, but this is closer to the shape that it's supposed to be. Like, I actually think this probably needs to be up a little more. But this is pretty good, I think. And you can start to see we have that crease line there, and this looks kind of nice having a crease line here too. So what we want to do now from back view, we can take a look at this. We want to continue this crease line along here. And to do that, we're going to select this vertex. And we're just going to start extruding and following the vertices along here to make that crease line. So we're just going to press E and kind of line it up with this next vertex, and then do the same again, press E. Line it up with these next vertices, press E again. And you can also select these vertices and press G to move them if you need to. But you want to try to keep a consistent width here throughout the whole thing. And if you need to, you can press Z for wireframe so you can see your vertices better. It's up to you if you want to be in wireframe or not, but you just want to match them up like this all the way around. So we have 3 vertices here, so you want 3 vertices here, and then continue matching these up. I think actually this one needs to, this one needs to go over here, and then this one needs to go over here, and we'll do one more extrusion to match these up here. So assuming you did that correctly, you'll have a pair of vertices for each section here. Just make sure that you have them all paired up like this. And if it's all paired up nicely, you can just select these two and then press F. And just continue pressing F, or you can hold it down. And everything should go smoothly like this all the way to the end. If it doesn't, you can do Control Z. And you can always add in more edges by selecting an edge, or add in more vertices by selecting an edge. Doing subdivide, that will add in another vertex if you missed one. Or you can do more extrusions, whatever you need to do, until you have all the vertices paired up and you have a nice edge loop like this. So now we have something like that. To connect this over, we're going to need another edge loop, so we're going to do Control R, left click, right click, go to vertex select, select these 4 vertices, press F to fill in that face, and now we have more like this. We can actually slide these down probably using Q to edge slide those down a little bit, because it doesn't look the best, but actually, I don't know. It's up to you what you want to do, if you want to leave it up there or bring it down. It looks a little better when it's down further. But we may need to move these out a little to get the shading to be a little nicer. Just making some minor adjustments here, so this is pretty good. Fairly close to the shape that we want. One other thing we can do is, in edit mode, alt right click on this And one of the first things we can do is we can just press F, fill this in, and then E to extrude, right click to cancel, and you can bring it back so that you kind of have a mirror there. It looks like there's kind of a mirror there. So it's up to you if you want to do that. You can press S to scale it down a little, or before you extruded, you could just we could go back with Control Z, and you could do I for inset instead if you want to do that, and try to make a little area for the mirror. So that's our little mirror there. But what we could do, since this is actually supposed to connect down to here, is we can step back a bit and we can take these three and then press F to fill this in. I know that's not the cleanest way of filling that in. We could even maybe dissolve these edges. So if we alt right click on this and then shift right click on this to deselect, delete, dissolve edges, and then we can take this vertex and merge it down here, so that will get rid of that. But I think it looks better having that vertex there, to be honest. This one lonely vertex. So what I did instead is I selected this vertex, selected this one, J to join those together, because I like how this looks better than that other option. So this is a more accurate area for the mirror. So now you can just do the same thing. You can alt right click, F to make a face, and I to inset, and then drag this back a little. And if you want, you can do I to inset again and do a small inset, and then you have your mirror. So that looks pretty decent. Something like that's not too bad. To make this area look a little nicer, we can go to edit mode by pressing tab. I'm actually going to take this vertex and bring it forward a little, but actually it doesn't matter, because what I'm going to do is select it, shift select this one, alt M at last, and then we're going to do the same here, select this one, shift select this one, alt M at last, and that will help a little somewhat with the shading here. So if you like it better like this, you can leave it like this, and you can save it like this, or you can leave it the way we had it, but I didn't really like that little triangle effect that we had, so I tried to fix that. So I'm going to save this, go to File, Save, and this part actually is supposed to stick out a bit more, so we're going to go back to edit mode, and we're going to take these pieces, these two vertices, bring them out a little, and do the same with these, and you can kind of move these back a little. So just select these with circle select in wireframe, and I'm actually going to pull this back a little now that I've done that, just to give this a bit more shape. Now all that's left to do is, in object mode, with this selected, press Shift D to duplicate, right click to reset the position, press M to move it to a new layer, and we're going to select this first layer because that's where our car is. So we're just going to left click here, and then we're going to left click down here to go to that layer. So now we have our mirror and our car on the same layer. I'm going to press tab to go to edit mode, press A twice to select everything, S to scale it down to approximately how big you think it should be based on the car size, and then we're just going to drag it into position using the arrows or whatever method you think is appropriate. You can go to side view by pressing 3 and try to line it up where the mirror, where it should be. based on the car reference, so something approximately right here, I would say. That's about good. And you can just bring it over so that the bottom of the mirror here is hiding kind of behind the car. And I think I want to scale mine down a little more so that it's more like this. And then what we can do is, with this mirror selected in object mode, shift select the car so that they're both selected, then press Ctrl J to join them, and it's automatically going to apply the mirror modifier to the mirror because it's now part of the car model. We don't have the best shading on the mirror right now, so to fix that, I'm going to press tab to go to edit mode, and I'm just going to press period on the number pad to focus in on the mirror here. We're going to do Control R, add in a loop cut here. It's not going to go all the way around because this is a triangle, so we're going to have to do Control R, add in another loop cut. And then what we want to do is Z for wireframe, C for circle select, middle mouse click to deselect these vertices. You want to leave this one and the rest of that selected. Then press delete, dissolve edges. Now you have this one selected, shift select this one, J to join, and we have a complete edge loop. So we're going to alt right click on this edge loop. We're going to deselect the three that are on this end here. So you want to deselect these three. And then you're going to do Q, then E. If you need to, press F so the red dot's on this side, and just bring this close. And that's going to help to correct the shading problems, and it's going to make that mirror look really nice. Like, this looks pretty good. Looks like it's in the right position, so we can save this by going to File and Save.